Welcome back. By now, you've probably seen people across social media celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. It is disgusting. It's vile. But it's not surprising that many leaders on the left have labeled Republicans as fascists and Nazis.
This year, this country could very well go the way of Germany in the 1930s.
Comparing the tactics of Donald Trump to Mussolini and Hitler is a very legitimate thing.
I don't care what Elon Musk is doing behind a presidential seal. In this country, we hate Nazis.
We have a Timu Hitler in the White House right now that thinks that he is going to become the dictator of the United States.
Now that person, Jasmine Crockett of all people, is challenging anyone to find a clip of Democrats invoking violence.
These are just facts. So don't get mad that I speak the truth and I speak facts, but I literally have never said anything to invoke violence.
Truth and facts.
And I challenge somebody to go and find a clip of a Democrat invoking violence.
Challenge accepted. Go find a clip of any Democrat invoking violence. Here you go.
Maybe Donald Trump will go away. Maybe he'll go to jail. Maybe he will die.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country.
You just can't make this up. You just can't.
It's everywhere, though, and it's sad. It's teachers, it's healthcare workers, it's even public servants. It's most likely in your life, maybe a neighbor, maybe a friend. Sadly, I hope not, but maybe a family member. But many of those people are being fired or put on leave for their vile comments today after Charlie's murder. And just today, we learned a Secret Service agent was put on leave over a negative Facebook post. And I want to quote Charlie now. In 2016, he wrote, "You can tell a lot about a person by how they react when someone dies."
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey. Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. When you try to kill our we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, it just doesn't stop. You know, in times and moments like this, I don't even know why I'm even covering anything on this lady here. The one and only Jasmine Crockett. As you know, it's been real hot in the streets these last couple of weeks. And with the redistricting, you know, and then her, you know, everybody's been posting about her losing her seat, and they just want this woman out of Congress and many other Democrats, you know, because it's been the same thing, the same script, the same hatred, the same bias, the same misinformation, the same gaslighting, fear-mongering, the same rhetoric, you know. And from the left, you know, this is one of the reasons why you have, you know, violence. And then the first thing that they do is blame the gun. It's the gun's fault. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. You know, and this lady here, I tell you, you know, it was like every Democrat that has spoke out, honestly, should have just kept quiet. Just, you know, just be quiet. Don't even open up your mouth. You guys don't make anything any better, you know. But here she is, and she's once again broke the internet, and people are just posting all these clips and the things that she goes on MSNBC and say, you know, the CNNs, the ABCs, the fake news media. And as you've seen this past week, that MSNBC reporters, hosts have been fired for their comments on Charlie Kirk. There's thousands of people that have been fired this past week. The employers are stepping up, and you know, there's campaigns right now, even Democrat campaigns all over TikTok. As you know, even Democrats, people that disagree with Charlie Kirk, are now on a mission to remove anyone that are mocking, laughing, or celebrating, or had anything nasty to say, you know, when it came to Charlie Kirk's passing. And as we reported and showed in our previous video on the show, thousands have been fired. And even Fox News and many other sources have gotten the report of thousands being fired. We've showed y'all thousands. You can see it all over your TikToks and Facebook pages of so many people being fired, and even making videos of them crying and saying, it's my freedom of speech, is this and that, you know, of laughing or doing this when Charlie Kirk died. You know, these people are just inhumane. It's disgusting. It is, man. It is completely disgusting, you know. But the one and only Jasmine Crockett, you know, and they want this woman gone, you know. And with the redistricting, people are saying that this woman is fired. She's lost her seat in Al Green. They want this lady gone. And that man waving his pimp cane, the Geico pimp caveman, you know, screaming to the top of their lungs, you know. He says, hey, Mike Johnson, remove Jasmine Crockett for what she has said about Charlie Kirk's supporters. And then, what the? Jasmine Crockett, when I see ICE, I see slave patrols. If you know the history of police and you understand that they were born out of the slave patrols, Jasmine Crockett is encouraging violence against ICE. She must be expelled from Congress. Let's check this clip out. You just can't make this up.
But as somebody who understands history, when I see ICE, I see slave patrols. Now, I never lived through the slave patrol period.
Y'all, you just can't make this up. You know, I told you the same thing. The same stuff, man. It is the same stuff. White supremacy, back in the day, slaves, black people, race, white versus black. It's the same stuff with this lady. It doesn't stop. Something has to do with something with the race card or slavery or cheating. You know, her and others think that Martin Luther King and all of them are still alive. I don't understand these people, you know. And she hasn't been a slave a day in her life, you know. And we've went back and we seen the whole thing that came out of how this lady grew up. You know, I tell you, fraud, man. These politicians are frauds. You know, and her whole messaging is, I'm a black woman. You know, forget everything else. I'm a black woman. I don't understand this lady and many others, man.
But if you know the history of policing in this country, then you understand that they were born out of slave patrols. But as somebody who understands history, when I see ICE, I see slave patrols. Now, I never lived through the slave patrol period. But if you know the history of policing in this country, then you understand that they were born out of slave patrols. But
that's always their backup claim. If you know the history, if you know that this took place, if you know that this took place, if you know the history. I tell you, boy. You just can't make this up, man. You just can't. But Charlie Kirk getting so much love everywhere, and I'm so happy to report on it. We've been reporting on it for, you know, the last couple of hours, couple of days. The movement is worldwide, and this is the turn. I told you guys, this is the turning point. You know, everything happens for a reason, and they just made millions of more Charlie Kirks. You know, but look, check this out on MSNBC. Tells their viewers everyone needs to pick up a weapon and get involved. Notice Jasmine Crockett nods in agreement. Prime example of how these people really are.
But this is a war. This isn't a battle, and we absolutely will win this war.
It is a war. It is indeed a war. And I have to say, they have won some battles, Jasmine, but we have to keep our eye on the war, and everybody needs to pick up a weapon and get involved, because this is for the safety and lasting of the country.
You just can't make it up. Pick up a weapon. We're at war. They want us dead. Gone. This is a member of Congress, people.
A war. This is a war. This isn't a battle. And we absolutely will win this war.
It is a war. It is indeed a war. And
You know?
Pay the price. Release the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you. Release the
About like what it means when you're running for president or you're running for one of these higher offices, and you go out there and you talk about beating people up. You go out there and you say things like, I could shoot somebody in the middle of the street in New York and I could still win. We got to talk about like that is next level. Me disagreeing with you, me calling you,
She's trying to justify this on the Breakfast Club.
I want to be Hitler. All those things are like not necessarily saying go out and hurt somebody.
Not necessarily.
But when you're literally telling people at rallies, yeah, beat them up and that kind of stuff, like you are promoting like a culture of violence. So we need to talk about like what it looks like when you don't promote a culture of violence.
You just can't make it up, man. But I still can't believe she said this crap. When I see ICE, I see slave patrols. It says Democrats have ramped up their violent rhetoric since Charlie Kirk was killed. They want more political assassinations. Blood is on Democrats' hands. We're seeing so many players, NFL players, so many people who've put politics aside, and whether they disagree, agree, or left, right. And so many people I've seen this past week step up and show so much love to the Kirk family and paying for, they've paying for the kids' education. There's just so many good things, Huge shout out to ton. It was so many NFL and so many people. Not just the NFL players, but it was so many individuals and so many tributes, so much love at the baseball games, the country, the rap, the jazz, so many artists show love to Charlie Kirk, and they proved a huge point, that we need to put everything aside and come together, man. And I seen so many videos posted, and we seen in London a couple of hours ago of millions take over the streets marching. They even had Charlie Kirk posters and pictures of his family holding it up, holding up the Christ. I mean, it was just a beautiful thing to see, man. This movement is worldwide. This lady here, same crap, same script, same rhetoric. It just doesn't stop. He says, so we're not going to talk about the white supremacy. We're not going to talk about the fact that the vast majority of these shootings, if we look at the numbers, white supremacy ideology is not black folk that are going out there. It's not immigrants.
Supremacy? Like, we're not going to talk about the fact that we're not going to talk about white supremacy?
Same thing, y'all. You just can't make this up with this lady.
Ideology. But we don't want to do anything about that. There's no legislation. These mass shootings, most of them are linked to neo-Nazism.
This is crazy, man.
Or, Proud Boys or whatever. It's always some white supremacy kind of thing that are going out there. But what cities are we going into? People are we going after? Immigrants, because allegedly it's immigrants. But we don't want to have a talk about what.
You don't even know how to spell law. Law, ma'am. Enforcing the law. Not just coming after immigrants. Not just kidnapping and disappearing. The same fearmongering that y'all put out. They ought to walk this heifer out, man. I'm serious. You just can't make it up. But it's just going to continue with these Democrats. They're going to come out here and the same thing. The same thing. It does not stop. This woman just said live on TV, when I see ICE, I see slave patrols. Just can't make this up. Let me know what y'all think, man. I'm not going to spend too much time on this lady. You know, I really hate that I have to even give her a little bit of, you know, coverage to begin with. But hey, here we are, man. I love y'all. God bless you all and your family. And I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace and love, you guys.